What went through your mind when you heard him say that?
I was dumbfounded. I was speechless. I was shocked. And I think, along with many other conservationists in our country around the world, I'm infuriated.
What is there any question in your mind? I mean, he's saying there's a debate, there are differences of opinion. That is essentially the position of climate change deniers, is that the science isn't settled.
There is no debate. 97% of the world's leading climate scientists believe that there is a dramatic change in our climate, that our planet is warming up, and the great contributor to that is greenhouse gases being released into our atmosphere, and carbon dioxide makes a significant part of the greenhouse gas formula that is causing our planet to warm up. John, to say that climate change doesn't exist and that CO2 isn't a part of it, it's like saying smoking doesn't cause lung cancer.
Okay, it's pretty alarming when the head of the Environmental Protection Agency takes that position, but the president has taken that position. He's called climate change a hoax. The energy secretary has also said that humans aren't contributing significantly to climate change. So it's not just one man, it is the entire administration that seems to be at war with the science and, frankly, with every other government in the world that has spoken about this. Where does that leave us?
If we look at these current deregulation of these very important, time-tested, scientifically validated regulations designed to protect our planet, especially when it comes to their dim view on climate change, I believe it is a war on the environment. And I believe that this administration will go down as one of the most environmentally toxic in American history if they don't recognize their roles as environmental stewards. The role of Director Pruitt is to serve as our nation's leader when it comes to protecting the environment for wise, sustainable, practical, long-term management of our natural resources. It doesn't mean we don't have access to resources. We have to recognize that climate change is very real. John, if you look at a photograph that Ansel Adams took at the turn of the century, and you try to find the glacier that he captured today, you won't recognize it because in the lifetime of a human being, many of these glaciers have receded. They are the ultimate ambassadors of climate change. So I believe this is a huge wake-up call for America, that we need to pull our heads out of the sand and recognize that we are responsible for our planet. We elect leaders to not only provide us with prosperity and opportunities to thrive as a nation, but to secure the national natural legacy unique to our country for us to sustainably use, to cherish, protect, and to pass on to the next generation. So
I'm going to interrupt because there's a larger point here. You're talking about America and the national legacy. Let's talk about the entire planet. How big an impact will the United States have if, for example, it stops trying to fight climate change, if it pulls out of the Paris Climate Change Accord, which is what the president says he'll do? How big an impact will it have on the planet, and how big an influence will it have on other big polluter nations that are also being pressed to try and limit their consumption, limit their pollution?
If Director Pruitt, under this administration, continues on course and denies the impact and the science of climate change, I believe the impact will be global, and it will be a humiliating result because we are one of the leaders. John, in the history of our nation and around the world, the models for conservation, for the scientific method in managing our resources, the creation of national parks, science used to ensure the survival and viability of our natural legacy in our nation, to deny that course, to pull us back from that is absolutely terrifying, and we will lose our place as an international leader when it comes to driving the course to protecting our planet. If we don't live and stand as an example for other nations, why should anyone else?